So if you watched any of the El Niño coverage that went semi-viral a couple months back, here's what's happened since. Back then, forecasters were saying El Niño looked strong and could get historically significant. That was the story 2 months ago. As of 2 days ago, that forecast just got a lot more specific, and honestly, a lot bigger. On August 13th, NOAA's Climate Prediction Center dropped an update that's worth actually sitting with. They're now saying there's a greater than 90% chance El Niño becomes a very strong event this fall and winter. That part, we already kind of knew was coming. Here's the number that's new. A 69% chance, call it roughly 2 in 3, that this becomes what they're literally calling a historic event, one that would exceed every El Niño on record, going back to 1950. Not similar to the big ones, bigger than all of them. To put that in perspective, when meteorologists talk about the big El Niños, they mean 1997 to 98 and 2015 to 16. The two events that reshaped an entire year of global weather, drove record global temperatures, and are still the benchmark every forecast gets compared against. NOAA is now saying there's better than a coin flip chance this one tops both of those. And this isn't a vibe-based prediction. Sea surface temperatures in the eastern equatorial Pacific are running about 3.6 degrees Celsius above average right now, which is a genuinely large anomaly for mid-August, months before these events typically even peak. The ocean is loading energy faster than the historical pattern usually moves. Here's where it's already showing up. In a forecast, you can actually check yourself. Hurricane season. A couple months ago, NOAA's initial outlook called for a below-average Atlantic season, something like 8 to 14 named storms. As of this month's update, they've trimmed that further. 7 to 13 named storms, 2 to 6 hurricanes, and as few as 0 to 2 major hurricanes. Colorado State's team, who've been doing these forecasts since the 80s, landed even more specifically on 9 named storms, 4 hurricanes, 1 major. For context, a normal season averages 14 named storms and 3 major hurricanes. This El Niño is actively suppressing the Atlantic, and the forecast keeps getting quieter as the season goes, not louder. Now here's the part that actually affects your day-to-day life more than any hurricane count. Winter. NOAA's lead seasonal forecaster put it plainly. El Niño winters tend to run warmer across the continental US, especially from the Pacific Northwest through the Great Lakes. While the southern third of the country, think Texas across to Florida, typically sees wetter than average conditions. It's a pretty consistent pattern historically, and with an event potentially this strong, forecasters expect that signal to come through more clearly than usual, rather than getting muddied by other noise in the atmosphere. There's a real, if slightly counterintuitive, wrinkle in that pattern worth knowing. A milder than average winter overall doesn't mean zero cold. Historically, El Niño keeps the deepest Arctic air bottled up in Canada more often than not. But, more often than not, still leaves room for a brutal week to sneak through even in an otherwise mild season. So if you're up north, don't read milder winter as no need to own a shovel this year. Zoom out for a second, because this isn't just a US story. An event this strong doesn't stay contained to one country's weather map. India's meteorological department has already projected this year's monsoon at around 92% of average rainfall, which matters enormously for a country where agriculture still runs on that seasonal rain. Add in the kind of drought and flood swings El Niño typically causes across Brazil and Australia's crop regions, and you've got a genuinely global story sitting underneath the US headlines. Food security researchers have been explicit that the real risk isn't any single one of these pressures alone, it's several of them landing at once. So where does this actually leave things? NOAA updates this forecast monthly, and the next one lands the second Thursday of September, a little under a month out. Given how consistently the numbers have been climbing rather than backing off over the past couple of months, that update is genuinely worth paying attention to, because if the current trend holds, September's report could either confirm this as one of the strongest El Niños in recorded history, or start showing the first signs of it topping out. Either way, we'll actually know a lot more in a few weeks than we do right now. For now, here's the honest state of it. What was already shaping up to be a major seasonal story 2 months ago has, in the last 72 hours, been upgraded to something forecasters are using genuinely rare language for: historic, exceeding the record. That's not hype from a headline. That's what's sitting in NOAA's own numbers right now.